Here we are, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the Athlete Talk podcast. And today we have a very special guest with me today to inspire many of you, and also many of you do know her. She goes by the name Robin Johnson. How are you doing, Rob?
Hey, good and you. Thank you for having me on the show, on the podcast. I'm happy to be here, happy to share some information on us, team, women's hockey team. So yeah, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Many of you who don't know Rob has been to the Olympic Games in 2020 in Tokyo, and I'm 100% sure she had a very fantastic time. Rob, you started hockey when you were young, is that correct?
Yeah, so I started actually playing hockey when I was about in grade 3, so I was about 9 years old. Obviously just for fun, just to get involved in the school program, extramural. So yeah, that's how I started playing hockey.
Great. And then also you made your first senior international debut in 2017 in Durban against Zimbabwe, taking into consideration that it was your very first senior debut. How did it feel? What was going on in your mind when all of that happened?
Yeah, so I actually played as my first cap for South Africa was for indoor. It wasn't for outdoor. It was, it's always such an honor and such a proud moment, to receive your first cap for your country. It was in Durban when we played Zimbabwe. Yeah. And I actually had my dad was in Durban at the time, and he actually got to watch me live. So yeah, it was very special for me to have that moment to share with him live. It was very special.
Yeah, let's talk about your father a little bit. Many people don't know who your father is. Now that you mentioned it, let's talk about your father.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little bit deeper, Your father, okay. Mr. Kevin Johnson, he's a current assistant football coach for, is it Al Ahly? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, you say Al Ahly. So I actually used to think that it used to say Al Ahly, but it's not. It's actually Al Ahly. Yeah, they say it like that. He's actually currently not in Egypt anymore. He's now in South Africa. Okay. But yeah, it's nice to have someone that's a sports person, sports brain in our family, and I think that I've learned a lot from him in terms of characteristics and maybe mental aspects and things like that. So yeah, it's always inspiring having him around and helping me and stuff like that. So good. Yeah.
I can imagine all that inspiration that you're getting from your father, from his experience. And also your dad was he played for Orlando Pirates in the 70s.
That was actually my uncle.
Oh, that's your uncle. The uncle. So your family's like sports.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's funny.
So in other words, you come from a family that is full-blown sports.
Yeah, we have a few good sports people in our family. So yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's nice when you have someone who played for Orlando Pirates, and now I have my dad who's a really good coach. So yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, and also, did you not feel any pressure that you should be playing soccer as well, or not?
So when we were young, my brother and I, we did do some soccer when we were kids, and we just didn't continue with it. So, my dad's never ever put pressure on us or on me to play sport. It's always been, if you enjoy it from a young age, then you will enjoy it when you're older. And I think that you don't want to force something on someone when they're not enjoying something. So yeah, that's always been one of our mottos and one of our things in our lives. When you're not enjoying something, then stop doing it.
Okay, fantastic. That's true. And also, what is the most, maybe I should put it this way, what's the best lesson you've learned from your dad and your uncle in terms of sports that is actually assisting you right now in your career?
I think, not giving up. I feel like even if I look at my dad's career, later on, he started actually becoming a head coach in his professional career. And I feel like that's how my career has kind of played out, is that I obviously only made national debuts later on in my career. And I think that I haven't given up on that dream. And, you know, I'm realizing a lot of dreams at the moment. You know, making teams for South Africa and that kind of stuff. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and I've never given up on that. I think that's something that I've learned definitely from them.
Ah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna let us move away from the family sports, because even your brother plays hockey at the moment. Is that correct?
Yeah, he does. He does. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about Tokyo. Let's talk about Tokyo a little bit. I mean, this was
Okay.
100% an amazing experience for you. Did you feel any pressure? Did you have any nerves at that kind of stage?
Definitely. You know, COVID obviously played a role in you don't want to catch COVID before you leave for Tokyo. You don't want to catch COVID in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely did play a role. But and I think also, you know, stepping out onto the, you know, the Olympic pitch, I was like, wow, you know, I've never actually been in such a big stadium before. And obviously there weren't fans. I think the fans would have added some other element to the games. But I feel like either way, you know, I knew people in South Africa were watching us, and obviously people around the world were watching us. So yeah, obviously you are nervous, but I think you're also excited. You know, not many people get to say that they've been to an Olympic Games before. And I think yeah, there's always two ways to look at it. And it's just kind of absorbing that moment and really taking the experience all in.
Yeah, yeah. And just to ask this question, I always ask our guests about their particular sports. What is the
Yeah.
what is the peak years for hockey?
So I think the peak years for me would be, I think from 25. I feel like players start actually really, you know, understanding themselves, you know, technically, tactically. I always say hockey is such a technical sport, and, you know, you have to master these skills, you know, to really be really good in the sport and to really compete at a high level. And I think that that's probably, for me personally, I think the perfect age, you know, when you start actually peaking in the sport.
Yeah, that's correct. So it's a little bit different from from individual sports like track and field, where athletes can go on until, say, maybe 37. There's been some people
Yeah.
40, but at that time you're not so competitive, you know. So
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a bit of a gap there. So now you are actually part of an amazing female squad right now. I'm talking.
Yes.
Guys like Pume, Juanita, Kirsten, just to name a few, a squad that will be playing at the Female World Cup in Spain. How are you feeling about
Yes.
this? Are you excited? Is the whole team excited about this?
Yeah, you know, Khuto, we got a new coach recently, a newly appointed coach, Giles Bonnet. And he's really, you know, ruffled some feathers up, and he's changed a lot of things within the team already. And I feel like that's made it exciting for us. We're working very hard at the moment. And hopefully, you know, obviously it's my first World Cup, so I'm also obviously excited because it's going to be my first one. Yeah. But the team is definitely positive. We have a nice pool that we are in. I would say nice pool because I think we can compete with the teams that are in our pool. So I think this World Cup we actually have a chance of doing really well. And that's the expectation, you know, that I see us having, and I think the team also. So yeah, we are very excited. We're obviously trying to prepare in the best way that we possibly can. And I think under Giles, I think the team is going to do really well.
Yeah, absolutely. We are hoping and we're looking forward to that. And also, just to touch on the juniors, I went to support the junior female championship in Potchefstroom a few weeks ago, and
yes,
our ladies played. I think were they 5th or 7th? Or
I think they were 7th or 8th.
Yeah,
somewhere around there. Yeah,
and that was said to be one of the highest rank that they've ever achieved. So that was something fantastic to watch. What do you think? Do you think there's lots of talent that's going to come out of that team?
Definitely. I think already our last training camp that we had so many of them at our last training camp. And, it's so positive for us as South African hockey at the moment. And some of them have already made our senior team. So, I can't wait for them to actually step out on the world stage now at senior level and show the world what they're capable of doing. And it's nice to see, because obviously we're building towards the Olympics for Paris. And when we come onto that stage, hopefully we can do better than what we did at Tokyo. So very exciting for us. It's really nice to have the youngsters come through, and I'm sure they'll continue to push through the system.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're going to be inspired when they watch this episode with you inspiring them. I think for them it's a big deal, so this is great. And I'm just thinking now, you have trained and are training and having training camps with the squad. What do you believe to be one of your weaknesses, and what are you guys doing to improve that as a squad?
Sure, well, that's a good question. So, I think, I don't know. I feel like we've maybe been stuck as a team in terms of creating a positive environment, but also one where it's, an exciting one where you want to play forward and you want to create things, on the hockey field. You want to score goals, and you want to create, become a competitive team on international stage, and not let countries think that, it's South Africa, it's going to be a walkover, we got this game. We want to go out there and show other countries that we're here to compete when we mean business. And I think that in our trainings at the moment, and in how Giles wants us to play, I foresee us displaying an exciting brand of hockey, an attacking brand of hockey, a go forward brand of hockey. And I think that that's hopefully going to create results for us and also surprise other nations. So that's what we're working on.
No, that's great. I think that's beautiful information. When the team grows together and stays positively, I mean, you guys have to be in sync. I mean, it's a team sport, so the relationship has to be so strong. So it's good to see that it was actually happening in Tokyo, and I'm just looking forward to see what's going to happen in the future. So I think there's a lot of positivity that's going to come out of the team. So that's great, and we wish you all the best. So now, as in when I was still competing as an individual athlete, I had these sessions I used to call them the secret sessions, where I would go and train without even my coach knowing that I was having these kind of training sessions just to improve my game, Do you also do that kind of stuff? Or are you always training as a squad?
So at the moment, we are like decentralized. We're in a decentralized phase. So we are training alone. So I don't know if you'd say secret, but we are, everyone should be training on their own. So, it's quite, you have to be quite disciplined. I think, each of us do. I like to do my own recovery sessions. I don't know if that's anything of a secret, but I enjoy doing, jumping into an ice bath now and then. I think majority of the girls, majority of the girls don't enjoy doing it. So that's maybe something that is my secret to, pushing every single session as hard as I can, because I think recovery is probably the most important. So then we have a decentralized part of our program, and then obviously we have a centralized program that's when we actually come together and we have a training camp. And our next one is at the end of May. So we're going to start training again together at the end of May.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Let's talk about the Commonwealth Games. Obviously, they're coming a little bit later in the year. What do you hope to do there?
So I want to be bold and say we want a medal. And I'm putting it out into the universe and say that that's what we want. I definitely think that it's possible. And I think I think we end the World Cup, and it's literally a 10-day turnaround until the Commonwealth Games with the team. And I think that the World Cup is definitely a good build-up for us and a good stepping stone, into the Commonwealth Games. And I think that's what we want to do. We want to try and bring back a medal on South Africa.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. I think the medal pool is quite open for everybody. You can never know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. So just
No, yeah.
just getting out there
You
and just
never know what's gonna happen.
never know what's going to happen. Just go out there and do what you gotta do. So
Exactly.
just stay positive with it. So we're getting quite close to the end of the session now. Um, when I was still jumping, when you speak about now the ice bath, you know, my coach always told me that it has something to do with the mind. It assists the mind to be strong. Because
Yeah.
I also have to like talk to myself before I jump into the. I mean, I'm so skinny, nothing.
Yes.
Go straight to the point. So I always have to talk to myself and just get that talking right. Now, if we go into the
Yeah,
field,
yeah.
is there some sort of scripture that you have for yourself before you go and play, that you recite in your head just to get your game right?
So I always say, do the basics. If you do the basics well, it settles you well into the game. So I always try and focus my mind. Obviously, you want to stay calm. You want to be composed. But if your first touch and your basics are, for me, that's what I remind myself about. If that's really good, then you settle into the game, and it's just free flowing from there. And that's what I usually tell myself. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
So
think
very simple.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think it's different when you're doing individual sports and also doing like a team sport, but there's a lot of similarities. Like for example, if you look at the sprinter, say Usain Bolt or Akani Simbeni, we always wearing the headphones.
The headphones.
We try to be in our own world and listening to music. Like I used to listen to hard rock and a lot of hip hop. Do you also
Yeah.
listen to music like that?
Sometimes I like to also feel the environment. So use all the senses. So smell, touch, hear, see. I also like to feel the rest of the team, feel the vibe in the bus. Because sometimes we'll be playing music as a team. You'll be in the change room. So I also like to not necessarily have headphones in, because I sometimes want to feel what everyone else is feeling. So I would say I'm probably not someone to wear headphones. I'm probably someone to be more trying to feel the environment and the surroundings.
And I think that's the better thing to do, because sometimes you can actually overdo it when you listen to music. It can drain you, right? Because music that's pumping, you can get tired of it, Because your senses are responding to the music as if you're dancing, so that can actually take energy.
Yeah.
We've come to the last part of the podcast, where you have to choose one answer, right?
Okay.
So, soccer or netball?
Soccer.
Okay. That's an obvious one.
Definitely. I'm sorry, netball players, but it's soccer.
Hip hop or R&B? Or none?
Oh, that's a good one. R&B.
R&B. Okay. And who's your favorite R&B singer of all time?
Wow, so many, Khutso. I can't even think of one now. You're putting me on the spot here. Now it sounds like I don't even listen to any R&B. I really like the old school kind of R&B. The
90s.
Yeah. Those songs, they never get old. Like I can listen to those songs over and over and over and over. Yeah. So probably around that era, yes.
R&B. Okay. So which were your favorite Olympic Games to watch or to be in, right? 2016 or 2020?
I have to pick 2020, obviously.
All that Corona and everything. Obviously, because you were there, right? Because you got to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, okay. And then Orlando Pirates or Super Sports?
Neither.
What's your
I don't have a favorite team. I support the team my dad coaches. So whenever he's coaching a team, I'm like, I'm supporting that team. That's my team.
And your uncle's team, Orlando Pirates? Hey.
Yeah, I think he's definitely Orlando Pirates. So if I had to choose, I'll probably choose Orlando Pirates, but only because of my uncle.
All right, fantastic. Any last words just to encourage the viewers that will be watching and the athletes and the young ones?
Yeah, thank you for first of all having me on the podcast. It's always an honor and a pleasure. I think if you are looking to be the next South African star or next South African athlete, representing South Africa, I think it's really important to keep working hard, keep setting goals. It's so important, and don't give up on your dreams. If you want something really bad, you'll make the sacrifices that you need to make, and you'll be committed and you'll be disciplined, and that's what's gonna count in your favor when you actually need to make a team or represent your country as an individual. So yeah.
Fantastic. That's it from Rob. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Rob, thank you so much. As the Athletes Commission, we really appreciate your time coming here to inspire those that will be watching this, and we wish you the best for the Female World Cup as well as the Commonwealth Games. And today, have a lovely training session later. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ruto. I keep well. All the best.
Thank you.